Hey everybody, welcome to Carnival of Randomness. And right off the bat, we have to send our thoughts out to some of our regulars. John Eric's not here today because his dad has pneumonia and he's with him in Ithaca, and I've done that with my dad many times. It's always scary, so all the best. And Greg's not here because he's having some personal issues. His girlfriend's mom died and he's with her as he should be. So we are here in our studio, which is, people have said it's about as big as Vermont. It's cavernous, but I have Patrick with me.
Hey,
and we'll
everybody.
try to entertain you, maybe inform you, maybe make you think.
Maybe
and
touch your hearts.
Big question I want to ask, though, for Black Widow. Were you as disappointed as I was? The spider was not in that movie.
No.
I did not see no spider in there.
No spider? No, because she's not a spider. I mean, she's just called the Black Widow.
The only thing I had to ask, and I've said this before, though, was the only thing that got me, when was it set? Because she was in the Avengers.
Oh, boy.
I couldn't get it because I know at the end, and okay, if you haven't seen it yet,
Right.
shut up for a minute, just close your ears. But they have, I think they're going to have her sister going after Hawkeye, but that was the Easter egg at the end. Go watch, pretty good movie, go watch it.
Yeah, it's been
but
out forever
I
now. If you
couldn't
haven't
figure
watched
out.
it, then too bad.
Yeah, that's. Hey, we have to be honest sometimes.
Yeah,
but the thing about it was, I couldn't figure out because I'm thinking, okay, it's got to be an earlier thing, but not that much earlier. She's going back, but she's in the Avengers because she keeps talking about the Avengers.
I think it is post Civil War. I think it's like supposed to be like right after Civil War.
Yeah, because they're having problems and everything.
I think it's obviously it's pre Endgame, but it's post Civil War is the time.
And I'm waiting for Morbius still. I'm actually sort of looking forward if it ever comes out.
The trailers pop up every now and then. I think it's going to come out next year. I just think that there's a lot of upheaval right now. This is the most convoluted mess between Sony and Marvel about Spider-Man is that Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man and the Spider-Man extended universe to Spider-Man villains, Venom, all those guys. Morbius is considered one of those. And in order to get Spider-Man in the MCU, the Marvel had made a deal with Sony, a production deal where they would share Spider-Man. Basically, they shared their rights to Spider-Man to put him in the MCU for 3 movies. Now, those for his appearance in his 3 solo movies, rather, and his appearances in the other Avengers movies. Those 3 solo movies with No Way Home, they are up. And there's, obviously it's just like, the what they want you to believe is, okay, cool. So, Tom Holland is Spider-Man, you're never going to see him in an MCU movie again, which is, is nonsense because everyone made money. So they're renegotiating that now. And in the meantime, Sony has their quote-unquote Spider-Verse, which drives me insane. But with Into the Spider-Verse is a clever way to introduce, the fact that Spider-Man, like everything else, can exist in, multiple
and word is
franchises.
3 times, hopefully he's a charm. There's supposed to be a Fantastic Four movie coming out. Another
Oh no,
one.
they're going to. Yeah, they're doing the Fantastic
And
Four.
I admit a little comic snobbery because people are like, when they saw Morbius, I'm like, aha, I know he's the living vampire. It's going to confuse people. Or like, I knew who Shang-Chi was, and obviously they redid him a little because let's just say the comic, when it came out, it was like chop sake kung fu, but it had some questionable stuff too.
It had a lot of problematic elements.
Yeah, otherwise they could have done straight kung fu almost though with them.
Yeah,
that's what it was. And that was the era of the 70s where they were doing the blaxploitation, the kung fu movies.
Yes.
But they had some things in there were a little bit would have been. You know how they did the Mandarin and Iron Man, which was kind of smart, where they did him like as a goofball.
I loved that. And Shang-Chi. Okay, so Shang-Chi's been out for a while. Have you seen Shang-Chi?
No, but go on.
So
at this point, I don't
Trevor
care.
Slattery, a.k.a. Fake Mandarin, who, by the way, is almost my favorite character in the whole MCU, and people hate his existence because it wasn't, he wasn't the real Mandarin. And but
he did like Kingsley?
So, Ben Kingsley,
yeah.
He is in Shang-Chi, and he is great.
At this point,
he has a little friend that is also great. And so Trevor Slattery lives and thrives and is forever probably one of my favorite characters.
And I always come late to the party, so I don't care about spoilers and stuff. I'm used to it.
Yeah, so yeah, if you haven't seen Shang-Chi yet, I just ruined a little. Nothing really doesn't affect the plot at all. But it's once again the funny in the movie is very funny. Awkwafina is funny. Never been a huge fan of her, but she's very funny. Ben Kingsley's funny. Everybody,
and I'm a fan.
The whole
too.
fact that Shang-Chi is like a parking valet.
Yeah, I know that.
Who just doesn't give a shit that he's.
I also I'm one of those people, if you gave me, if I was actually talented and had the money, okay, I love Batman. Mike and I would probably want to do a Batman movie. We love Batman. We were talking the other day. He's so psyched about it coming out, I think, in either May or March next year. He told me the release date.
Oh, for the Batman?
Yeah, the Batman. We were like, please, please, please. But what I would do is I would just, look for a character and go, okay, now this is a challenge. I want to make a really good movie. And people, when Ant-Man came on, I was like, I'm really looking forward to this because a lot of people don't know who it is. But I want to see something really cool done because it would be give me a different character. Yeah, I'd like to do a Deathlock movie.
A Deathlock? Oh, yeah. So Deathlock, the only Deathlock we've seen...
S.H.I.E.L.D., right? He
was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which will probably never be considered MCU canon because of behind-the-scenes boring. But
I think he's such a complex character. I could see him. I think Idris Elba should be in everything, so I'd like to have him. But I could have seen The Rock play him years ago too. But he's a complex character.
I think The Rock is now just too big to put in stuff.
Well, he's Black Adam now too. He's
Black Adam too, and
he's pretty much everywhere. I saw him at the flea market down the street when we were coming in. He's everywhere. But also, we are a little bit. This Carnival's been a little slow for now, and that's my fault because I had fun, and I'll talk. We tried not to do personal stuff, I know, because who the hell wants to hear about us?
Yeah, well.
But some of the things come out. So this is in August, around the week of August 13th, August 12th. I go to see my friends. They're playing at Dragonfly, my dear friend Megan Taylor and her band Gift Shop. And I just walked down. I did my 3-hour walk that day. It's a really hot day. I walk down. I go in. I'm talking to some friends. I'm talking to Carl Heberger of the Isotopes. And next minute, I wake up in an ambulance. And I was like, okay, what the heck happened? Is this a dream or something? I go to the hospital. I guess I dropped over and I was dead. And they say I was gone for 13 minutes. And I was really, really lucky. It turned out, and I'd love to meet these people. And maybe somebody knows me, could tell me. There were 2 people who were nurses there. And they did CPR and then the emergency came and stuff. Yeah, and I'll tell you, when they shock you, your chest hurts. It hurts a lot.
You got defibrillated.
Yeah, I got defibrillated too.
Yeah.
And it hurts a lot. I'm I want to say this is killing me. Now, the first thing I want to say, this was not a comment on the band performances. I'm sure they were really good. So I went into Strong's emergency, and this was like being in a level of hell. If you've never been in emergency to Strong, one word, don't. The screaming, And so they put me through all these tests the first night, and I had an experience with the person in my room I'm not going to talk about because it's personal with her. But I started thinking, I'm glad, you have to be lucky sometimes and think you are blessed. But it's people are screaming, so they take me the first day. I'm going through all these tests, and if you ever have to do that CAT scan where they give you the ejection of the dye, prepare to scream.
Yeah.
It hurts, and you feel like you're going to pee. They tell you you're going to feel like you're going to pee or something. It really hurts. Yeah, it does.
So it's like intense, bladder pressure pain?
It's literally, when they put you in by the head, you're fine. Unless you're like me, I close my eyes because I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah.
You're fine. But they put you one in body, torso, and they give you this shot in the wrist, which is dye. And the pain level.
Really?
And it feels like your wiener and stuff is all warm.
Well, don't use some medical technical
and you're
jargon.
Going to squirt. And you tried it, it hurts. But the thing was, when I was in the emergency room.
Don't pee, whatever you do.
In the emergency room, they had a guy next to me. He wiped out on a scooter. So, I guess he had a bone. I didn't see it, thankfully. But
they for driving a scooter.
They had a debate about, do you have to operate? We're going to inject you with this dye. And see, this guy screamed.
Yeah.
Like no other, and I'm like, But I guess he didn't have to operate. So they found nothing. So the whole day, and I'm thinking, me being Mr. I just walked 3 hours. I was probably just heat. They're like, no, it's not heat. It had to be something else. Day 2, they take me through stuff. I finally do an angioplasty, which is like being in a Sid Barrett Pink Floyd thing. They'd shoot you up with fentanyl. So
Oh,
you are
yeah,
seeing,
that's
you are
the-
in a literal seeing colors
Yeah,
and
that's-
weird stuff and everything else.
That's the stuff
So
that really does it to
they
you.
take me out and they come in and they go, the doctor comes, we found a blockage. And I'm like, lovely. And they said, well, usually we can do a stent, but the way it's shaped, we really can't, so we have to do a bypass. So I'm like, can I bypass this and just go home? But
Not that kind of bypass.
I had a doctor, and his doctor, he was great. I can't pronounce his name still. I actually called his office last week. But he can't, Dr. Gorski or something like that. He comes in, he's like a mix of Borat. He's like, and I still don't get his nationality. We'll say I think he might have been Israeli, actually, though. But he comes in, the attitude was it was like we're going to go to Eldridge Park. It was. He's like, you in pretty good shape. You'll be fine. We get this done. Let's just go. He's like, oh, yeah, let's go on the ride. Let's go on the ride.
Really
then all the
excitable surgeons
nurses are
freak
telling
me
me,
out.
like, oh, you should see the people who get this. You're fine. And I remember my mom's heart was working at 15%. Oh, by the way, trivia, our hearts pump between 50 and 60% at regular pump. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's a fact, which I did not know. But so anyways, it's like lovely. So I had to get it done. And the outpouring from my friends was great. And I will tell you, if you've seen my Facebook posts, and I don't like to talk personal stuff, but everybody knew social media. I know everybody at bars, so the news from Dragonfly was all over the place. So hospital food sucks in a way I can't even describe. Okay, imagine the movie The Fly, the remake, right?
Yeah.
When they put the thing through the thing, and it doesn't taste right. That's how hospital food is. It looks like it should be okay, but one of the best marks was like they're trying to take orders and like, well, I'm a vegan. And don't worry about it. We suit every dietary need, so why don't you look at the chicken or fish? There were pancakes you could have shot as saucers. I've heard the worst thing is the bagels, which I guess is like you drop, they go through the floor. But I had a week. You have to understand, I'm very picky about what I eat. I'm very big about cooking and where I go. Like I'll go to Red for an Owl House. I'm very fussy. So I had to deal with this crap for a week, and I wanted to try to eat it so they didn't call me a problem patient or something, and try to, stick the funnel down me or say I can't leave. So, God bless my dear Antichrist Pauline, because she brought me in salads and stuff. And everything else, but I got through it. I gained 20 pounds, which I dropped in a week or so. But anyway, so, it's backed up. You have to understand, we're going through a thing called COVID. We're going through all this.
Yeah.
So they tell me the surgery, okay, Friday. And I'm like, great, Friday the 13th, I'm dead.
I didn't think of that.
I'm just going. So it's Friday. So I'm on the phone with Patrick, actually. Dr. Gorsuch comes in. I think that's his name or whatever. Sorry if you're out there. But he comes in, he goes, we go Thursday. All the thumbs up. It's like, yay. Oh, yeah, I can't wait. But it's not So they got me in at 7, that thing, and all literally for surgery. The best part about that, my thought at that point was, they told me for the angioplasty, there's under 1% chance you're going to die. I figured dead. I'm always like that. When I
under 1%
they got to tell you, when you're on that plane and it's safe, but they do the thing about, okay, when we crash, and
There's
you're
a higher rate of you getting killed just walking off a sidewalk.
I had a friend whose car got struck by lightning. That's amazingly unlucky. She's fine. Otherwise, I wouldn't talk about it. But that's more likely.
In the car, so.
That was more likely than going down in a plane. But psychologically. But my point was, for this operation, it's he's like, you need it. It's fine. It's screw it. If I'm going to die one way or another, I guess I don't get it. So what am I going to do? I just got to do it. But the night before, the nurse is going, your blood pressure is pretty high on this. And I'm like, I can't help it. But subconsciously, obviously, you're going through this. And it's you can't.
That's the thing. Your blood pressure goes up when you're,
And I'll say, I went to my cardiologist. My blood pressure shot up, and after they took the EKG, it dropped 20 points. And subconsciously, you can't help it.
Yeah, no, that factors into it too.
You can't. So they took me in on Thursday after more tests. They do, and literally, you're poked and prodded, done everything to. If anything else was wrong, I'm like, at least a kidney must work. They would have known. So, but they take you in, and then the anesthesiologist are explaining. I'm like, can you speak English for me, because they're talking all technical, and they're really thorough. But I also got to say one thing for the doctor too. By doing that, and all these doctors obviously. Strong's like rated really high, and they're all really good.
No, yeah.
And my dear friend Liz came in the night before, and she's a nurse, and she explained a lot of stuff for me. They're pros. This isn't like, we're back in 1600 and they're gonna drain your blood and like chance
put leeches on you
and everything. But so they're pros. So you go in, and the operation's a cinch because they knock your ass out. Yeah. And the thing was, I woke up. I guess I freaked, which is normal. I tried to pull the things out, and they got me. And then you come to, and you're like, you don't realize what happened.
Yeah.
Like, where the heck am I? You look like Dr. Octopus because of all the stuff on you. So I'm apologizing. And then what happened was, they got me, and I'm in the ICU. I'm all hooked up to everything. I'm not going to give you the gory details. They got me up. All the nurses were incredible. For every reason. And actually I had the one who looked like Nick Jonas. He was awesome. Yeah. And he was like so positive, like, you're awesome, you're gonna get up. And I'm like, I love the movie you were in called Goat. I love that movie. I haven't heard your music, but they were all, I can't say enough about them. They were as good as the food was bad. And I had a thing for the nurses because I care about quality and stuff. Yes. So, but they got me up. And literally, the irony, because I do have a few issues with blood pressure, but I got up and I almost dropped over because my blood pressure was too low.
Yeah, see that?
Henry right there.
Yep.
So they got me up, they got me out of, and I wish I could have stayed in the ICU because I had my own room. It was comfortable. I was the king of my domain.
Yeah.
So they got me up, they put me up, and they're like, you got to go up. And you have to remember hospital time. Like, for example, when I was in the emergency room, they're like, okay, we finally got a bed for you. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Take 3.5 hours later.
Yeah, no time anyone gives you in a hospital. They're just saying numbers.
And you cannot sleep. Now, number one, you cannot sleep. You finally get to sleep. They wake you up to jab you.
Yes.
They're bringing people in. They brought some guy in my room at 3 a.m. because they had a bed. Yeah. The beds are so uncomfortable. So they got me then, and then all you have to do is the subject to getting out of there. And the one thing to be warned is they catheter you, so you have to pee and go to the bathrooms to make sure the parts work, because I guess I want to get specific if anybody has this done, because I guess when they hook you up to the machine, they're so used to them doing the work, they got to make sure you go. So I'll spare you the gory details, but they give you laxatives.
Ah, hooray.
Yay, and the thing about that, but they have to make sure you go, I guess, because they're used to doing it for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was... But I said, no more. Just no mas. I can't do this anymore. Because the embarrassing thing, too, is like, okay, you got to go to the bathroom, I got to get a nurse. I can't go myself.
Yeah.
And then they got to watch. And I was like, oh, come on. I ever see you in public.
Yeah, well,
it's over. It's over.
This is their everyday, It's
I'm sorry. But then, I'm not as bad. There was some woman screaming in the ICU, punched one of the nurses.
It's
and I said, I was like, is she going to get out, and try to murder me? He's like, oh, if you saw her, she's not getting out of bed. So they sent me back, and every roommate I had one who was a pain in the butt because all he did was complain and complain and complain.
Yeah.
And I know it sucks, believe me, but what are you going to do,
Well, the service in that hotel is terrible.
Yeah, the service, and then we get the food, you don't want it.
Yeah.
So they got me in there, and then it's all sitting around, and shout out to all my friends, and Pauline, who gave everybody the number. I'm getting calls, Mike Murray, everybody's checking in on me, and there's nothing to do, pretty much but sit there and veg.
Yeah.
Be uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So you sit there, and I'm like, I got to get out of here. And they said, you're going to go home Monday. So then by Sunday, I'm going, I stay here another day. Greg's going to host this show. And I think actually when I dropped over, I think my will to live was, oh no, Greg's going to be your host if I'm dead.
Oh.
And I didn't want to do that. He's not here so I can make fun of him. He's a drummer.
Yeah, he'll never hear this.
So he probably does, but tough. He's used to
We love you, Greg.
Yeah.
We do.
That's why we make fun of you. You're a drummer. I can't make fun of John Eric because he's got that masked wrestler friend who'll beat me up. So I'm going, it got to the point though, you hit your end where everything's uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. You feel like, but you just want to get out. So they come in and they go, look, I know you exercise. You're in really good shape for what you are for this. To be honest, we don't like to send people home too early. And I know from my mom and my dad, but you recover better at home. You want to go home?
Yes.
Is the sky out? Is it? Is the sun out?
Oh, no. And leave all this?
So they said you could get out. So then I'm waiting for rehab, and I'm going, let's be honest. You don't think I'm going to pass rehab? And they go, look, they need to rubber stamp you. So they finally get her in. I do everything fine. Then just get freedom.
Yeah.
And I get out, and it's been like 6 weeks. And right now, that's why it's been slow on here, because I don't have a lot of energy. But we have some very good guests coming on, as you've seen, like our Zoom episodes and our episodes in our studio. And you don't have the energy. And like I worked up, they said for you, no restraints for walking. Just be careful.
Yeah.
This is not fun.
We're not having those ridiculously hot, humid days right now anymore.
That's what they said. Don't do it. So like the first week I was a good boy. I'm up to 1.5 hour walks like 3 times a day, and I did a 2 hour one the other day, and I'm fine. I never got the scare. I figured I was going to get the scare the first week where I couldn't breathe or I got chest pains, and I'm never coming out again. First week, second week, third week, you have to wear this compression thing for like 6 weeks, which I was okay with. A lot of people aren't.
Yeah.
It's off now. I'm going to the nurse practitioner soon, find out the things. But all in all, it takes like 3 months. If I'm busy a little bit, I get a little tired. But otherwise, I'm getting back to my full self. So, everybody be careful. Life can change on the drop of a dime.
That's true.
It really can.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow is not promised. And dance like no one's watching. And
I'm not coughing from
like
this. I'm coughing from my allergies.
I can't. Yeah.
No, and I've seen it. You're going along great. I'm going along, like, at the time, mind you, I'm up to, like, 4 to 6 hour walks.
Yeah.
Feeling fine, coming in, going, I feel good. Yay, I'm sweating all over the place. I walked 96 degrees. I walked for 6 straight hours.
Yeah.
And I was fine. And I was fine doing these. Now, I went to the doctor before. They gave me EKGs. And I looked fine. Now, my cardiologist comes in, he's apologizing, and I'm like, all you're doing is, it took 2 days of tests, deep ultrasounds couldn't find this.
Yeah.
What do you do when you're a doctor? You see the results, and they look fine.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Like, people think that a doctor's just going to magically know what's wrong with you. And but there's a lot of shit going on in the human body, and, it's... anything could be going on, and that's why that's why it's such a tough job.
Yeah, and I'm one of those, like I said, I'm paranoid. They get a blood test, I figure death.
Yeah.
And I still remember, like, my doctor, I think he teased me because he goes, oh, by the way, your blood test was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, oh, thanks a lot for the heart attack there. And stuff like that. And I always paranoid about everything. I figure every test I get, I'm dead. Like when they did the CAT scan. Because I guess I'm lucky. And some people would argue, know me, but I'm not brain damaged either. I guess they said I've been told I've been lucky to be alive because I was gone, like, for a long time.
It must be because they were trying to, like, doing CPR on you so that at least there's somehow something getting moved around in you. Like,
I don't know, but the weird part now, the word of social media, I probably would have just told people I had the flu and had been out. But literally everybody on social media knew. Yeah. I got back when I got my phone was lighting up. That's what probably killed my phone because I'm getting a new phone now.
Yeah.
But the messages on Facebook. Because remember, I used to work in the bar industry, too. So Dragonfly knew people I worked with. So my good friend Oz, who's been on the show, he'll be on again, he literally had people pass away before this. I got these panicking messages, not you.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah. But
it appreciates, you always go, it's like, I hate It's a Wonderful Life. And then we can get on that in Christmas. I have my reasons. I just don't like that movie. But I felt like George Bailey.
Yeah.
Because you were like me. The gifts now, I have coffee for over a year. But I even got one of those, what are those things called, like those weird fruit designs.
Oh, the edible
arrangements. And my first thing was, why did you spend so much money on me? Somebody sent me a little dragon. Now they know me.
Yeah.
And the weird part is people, they know you. And they know you for years and they don't get you. I've gotten so many cakes and sweets that I've had to because you have to understand I am a pain now because I'm such a health nut. But the problem was when I was all the bad food, I was fine.
Yeah.
So eat those plates, have those pizzas.
Just try to, just go with your instincts.
But yeah, no, that's
no one, no one has to live for 80 years or more. That's up to you.
The thing is, I knew it was in my family.
Yeah.
Too. But the thing was, I did go, for checkups and stuff. And, I have a few issues they're trying to deal with meds and nothing out of the, we all need our meds and everything. That's why I think now, too, when you go to the doctor, they have so many mental health questions because it's so all around.
And I think that we're at a point now where we're not, I think less people are under the illusion that, normal, quote unquote, normal people don't have any mental health issues, and that mental health issues are so much more common than the average person realizes. That, it used to be, it's like, oh, well, this person is mentally ill. And I'm just like, yeah, everyone is.
What I try to do though is I say, okay, I have my moods, I get depressed and everything, but I try to go, okay, is it baseline? Because if I know, okay, if I'm doing something really, I know I'm feeling really, that's the best way I try to handle it and stuff like that though. But, what else I'm going to be? I'm I'm a very positive person now. I've changed. It's one of those things where, when I was younger, I was a bit of a jerk and negative about stuff and everything. But now you have to be positive.
Yeah. You
have to be. Otherwise, why go around? It's also, it's in terms of you have only so much energy. If you focus on negative, I even see, that's why, we try to be we always used to say we're an antidote to toxic fandom, some irony there, the old days maybe.
Yeah.
But my view is okay, if you're a Marvel fan or whatever, something, if you don't care for them, you don't have to go see them.
Yeah.
I admit even, we have some local, talk show hosts I think are, well, basically dicks, and we're there. But I joined a group about one, and they're posting all these things. Then I took a moment back and go, okay, well, if we hate this stuff, we don't like this crap they're saying, why are you listening to them? Just don't listen to them.
Yeah.
And that's why fandom drives me crazy.
There's a way to handle it. You just go, it's not really my thing.
And that's why,
just leave it
I've
there.
had people say, for example, Birds of Prey or Suicide Squad or something. They lost money. It's like, what? Do you know these people? Do you care? Did you see the movie?
First of all,
and they didn't lose money either.
They don't lay out $200 million on a movie and it not make money. It's gonna make money. The expectation is that all these movies are going to make $1 billion.
And I don't care. And my good friend Todd Kratz said something about actors. Somebody asked a question about what deaths affect you by celebrity. He said none because I don't know them. I don't pry in their lives. But that's one thing I was actually going to ask. Actually, not a serious, but a speculative question about Black Panther. Now, this is very tragic about Chadwick Boseman. The character of Black Panther, he's like the fandom, though. Whoever is the head of the tribe, he's the protector of the tribe. That's the Black Panther.
Well, yeah. We know, in the movie, it's passed down.
You are passed down. That's what you do. It's not like one dude.
And he loses it in that movie for a little while, too. So
So are they going to go with
They're being very tight-lipped about it. There's been talk that it's going to be Shuri, his sister, because it has been her in the comics and she's a very popular character. But they're being very tight-lipped about it. One, because they want to be as respectful as possible to Chadwick Boseman, and one of the nice things that happened is that he did all of his voiceover work for What If way before all of this. And so there are some excellent performances that he
the plus
gets
thing
to
was,
do
it's so tragic in the way, but he was so freaking good too.
Oh yeah.
He was sometimes you just get people with the part. I guess I could be Tony Stark now because of my heart stuff.
Time bomb was going on the whole time. He knew.
That's actually you probably don't follow it, but AEW wrestling, Brody Lee, John Huber, he's from here. He played a character. Yeah. He played a character called Luke Harper in WWE, and he played a character called Brody Lee. He's from Webster. They actually were in town this week. They did a tribute show, and the thing was, I guess he was everybody loved him. Now you got to remember about wrestling. You say one word, it's going to get out. He had a problem with his lungs. Nobody said anything. And some critics were saying his matches weren't that good, but I guess he couldn't do much. He passed away. And actually, if you ever find it online, AEW did one of the best tribute. It was just so sincere.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like wrestling is like any other collaborative entertainment, experience. It's just like everyone involved is like a big extended family, and the fans are so into it that when stuff like that happens, it affects everyone.
And what they said too was they originally were going to have Brody Lee debut in Rochester because of COVID. They had to tape in Florida.
Yeah.
So they had his family. They actually gave his kid a contract.
Oh wow.
He's like 5. Because they could pay him.
Yeah.
Which is to support his family.
Yeah,
they have
exactly.
a foundation. Everything goes to them, not 1 cent, which I think is just awesome.
And this is and I'm not a wrestling guy, but I have a lot of very good friends who are wrestling, and I've observed it like from afar for a long time. And the AEW, I think, seems like the best thing that's happened.
Everybody loves it. Everybody, I guess,
because it's the opposite of what a WWE.
And I guess it's a fun place to work.
Yeah.
A lot of guys like to work. They get a lot of creative. But I guess like Kenny Omega, what he did, and it was like a dark match. He was the champion. He let Brody Lee's son come in and pin him during a match. But it just seems like, and you get a lot of like feuds in wrestling because obviously, it's work, so you want to have your place up here, there's competition. But it seems like they're all really, it's a good environment and everything else.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, everyone pretty much gets along. It's like anything else where that you get some level of fame, that there's ego that comes along with it, and that's going to happen. There's going to be people who are ambitious, and there's going to be people who...
Egos.
Yeah, and there's going to be people who simply don't have it, that just never.
Well, Bryan Danielson, he's the American Dragon. That's the best nickname. But I thought I could be Tony Stark now after what happened to me.
I like the evolution of women's wrestling too. Is a fascinating thing to watch because. Remember back in the day of the late 90s, early 2000s, the divas on W. It was just basically
panties.
It was just basically like there's just models kind of tumbling around on stage.
Vince McMahon's a weird dude.
Yeah.
There was a storyline he wanted to do that got vetoed by his daughter, where she was pregnant and it turned out he was the dad.
Oh, good Lord!
He's got I don't know much about him, and again, I don't know, but I suppose he's got a really, I guess, sadistic and sick sense of humor. He likes to humiliate people.
It seems like he's just a bad dude. Like in real, like there's very little.
No,
good
well,
press
he's
about
like
Vince McMahon.
okay. Imagine a villain in a movie, right? So I'm like with you, and I shoot you in the head right now.
Yeah.
Then my line was, "Hey, pal, nothing personal, just business."
Yeah.
I guess what he does is he does stuff to people, and he just says it's just business.
Oh yeah,
but Jim Ross said he tried to purposely humiliate him. And he likes guys to be broke and come to him so he can make fun of them. But how do you do a storyline where he was going to have a swerve? He was going to be the dad, or he's going to have her brother be the dad. And she said, "We ain't doing this."
Stephanie McMahon is a pretty clever human being from everything I've seen about her. Like she's, and it's I don't know. I mean, it's just the all the stories about how Vince McMahon's dad. Basically destroyed wrestling back in like the 60s and 70s by just buying it used to be this confederation of all these different organizations.
Yeah, it's all these we would need to get some people who know more than we do about this because we're like amateurs. We got to get the masked wrestler in here.
Yeah, no,
because I know like the thumbnail, but we're like. Would be so superficial.
And we're all like, and I admit, like anybody else, we're all drawn to the like Beyond the Mat or the Dark Side of the Ring or the stuff where they get really gritty about the nasty stuff. But like, I saw the Andre the Giant biopic they did on HBO Max was amazing, and not because it was just like there was a lot of like he had a tough life for a lot of reasons. But he was such a beautiful, gentle soul.
But he also, now, how do you feel about...
everyone loved.
I guess there's a guy named Paul White. He's like the Big Show.
Yeah, the Big Show.
Acromegaly. He got the surgery. I guess they told Andre he could have the surgery, but he didn't because he said he wouldn't be a giant anymore. He's afraid it would hurt his career.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing.
And seeing him at the end, I guess he looked like okay, imagine your legs swollen to be like the size of like an elephant trunk. Yeah, he was just so big and in such pain.
Well, like he basically a family basically adopted him essentially, and they he bought a farm and just whenever he wasn't working.
He had his
was
ashes
just
scattered
on the farm.
there because he was and he said he
just
loved the
drive around
prince.
in a
What was
tractor
his
on the
quote
farm.
about the Prince's Bride? It was the happiest experience of his life. But I guess, like, in terms of when he caught Robin Wright, they needed a double because his back was so bad.
His back was so messed
But
up.
he said it was the best experience of my life because nobody stared at me.
Yeah.
And he wanted to go to Broadway, but he said, look, I need nobody able to see behind me. But I saw my hint that wrestling might have been on the level. When I was a kid, I saw him wrestle Killer Khan. And my good friend Tony Mayhem walked by him in an airport one time and said, you didn't know how big he was until you actually saw him up close.
Yeah.
But he wrestled Killer Khan, right? So he ended up, they announced Killer Khan jumped on his ankle and broke it. I went, I never saw that. He broke his ankle getting out of bed, and they claimed it was the match. And I saw it though, because remember this was before cable, so literally,
that's
like George the Animal Steel could teach school and wrestle here because nobody, somebody might see it in a wrestling magazine and go, hey, you think I'm that ugly?
It's not every wrestling match is being
a lot
televised.
of wrestlers are teachers. Does that say something? Baron von Raschke, Tito Santana. But we've had one of those programs where we're talking about my shape wrestling. How is your thing going?
My thing, it's
that sounded bad. I mean, your podcast.
Architects of Entropy, my podcast. We are working on our second arc of the story. It's coming along really well. Our heroes are in a haunted Fey forest where lots of really weird stuff is happening. We're moving towards a real interesting story. It's we have a Patreon up now. I'll plug our Patreon.
Yes,
it's patreon.com/AOE podcast. And it's Architects of Entropy. And check it out if you haven't already. If you start at episode 20...
how do you start? I was going to ask.
I would say start at episode 25. It's the beginning of the new arc. And start at episode 1 if you want. There's not a ton of episodes. We only do it every 2 weeks. But if you want to, start and not have a backlog, start at episode 25, and that's where the new story takes place. There's only a couple episodes out right now.
And then you get into it, then go back.
Then go back.
Me, go in the middle, then jump backwards if you know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
but how much of this do you just do off the cuff, and how much you sort of have an idea? Does it sometimes surprise you? You go, I was going to do this, but I'm going to go exactly this way instead.
I drive myself insane trying to prep as much as I can, but the way my brain works, it's very, very hard. And what winds up happening is I have a lot of little ideas or even things that I forget, and in the moment somebody will do something and set it off in a completely different direction. So I wing a lot more of it. And because the format of the game, of the role playing, it's a Dungeons and Dragons basically, is it's a world that we all created. So it just goes wherever it goes, and it's fun that way. It's like improv story game.
Well, it's like found like starting this show. I used to like have 2 pages of notes what I was going to ask my guests and stuff. Yeah. And after a while, like you realize this show doesn't work the way, so I just go off I have an idea of who my guest is, obviously, and we just...
It also helps that we frequently have, diarrhea of the mouth and can go on subjects that we
have, I think I know every musician in Rochester and other places.
Not hurt you at
so
all. Yeah.
That thing, too, but sometimes you come in and go, okay, I know what they're doing. What are we going to talk about? It's like, I got to cut them off. We can't go this long. Nobody's going to be listening.
I'll tell you. I'll throw this out there. The first public mention of this is that I have another project that I am starting in the very early stages of developing that is about vampires. Oh. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, that's going to get a lot of
So
a lot of people like vampires.
I know, and we're going into it's October when we're recording this.
That's all. It's been a scary few months. It
doesn't. It can go.
I've been told I have to watch The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I've heard it's really good.
I think you dig it. It is. Yeah, it's
One of my
crazy.
friends are already going to be here for Halloween.
Yeah,
very small. COVID is not fun around here, so I'm limited anyways in my condition. But I'm really limited because of Seems like everybody down the pike's either getting a test who's been vaccinated.
Really, I know you can go out to places with a lot of people, but just don't right now. Just don't right now.
My problem is I'm so
it's still
loved.
going
Everybody
on.
now, I'm trying to,
Yeah.
everybody wants to see me and everything else, but I'm actually like in the phone conversations where I feel like I'm back at high school going like 3 or 4 hours on the phone.
It's hard because we were cooped up for so long, but it's just like we're not through it yet. And I keep hearing people saying things like post-COVID or whatever. It's like, it's not.
No,
it's
and I'm not
over.
going to, it's, their personal
Maybe it's
lives,
not
and I'm
like
not going to bring my friends' names up, but they're all vaccinated, but I've heard every week it's the same story.
Yeah.
Oh, where are you? Oh, I'm in the parking lot. Couldn't wait to get a COVID test. I got this.
You can get it, and worse, and better than that, you can spread it. That's the thing.
Yeah,
If
which
you
I
get
was.
it, you're likely
I've
going
had some
to not
close
get,
calls because remember when you get it, you might not know for a couple weeks.
Exactly, and then once it's known, you got to go through, and let everyone know. And then they have to go through this whole thing, and then it really impacts. It's just like it's not worth the bother. If you're out, if you have to go out, wear a mask. Just wear
They
a
do.
mask.
You can get the good
regardless.
ones now, I guess. The if you want to get those, what are those things called? The N1s or that's
the
N1's a flu. Yeah,
N95.
Yeah, you
I
can
think.
get them now. You can get them.
Yeah,
if
you can
want
get
to
them
go that
now,
way.
and they're.
We have to because it is a serious thing still,
Yeah.
and like that's why I'm sort of like, and I'm always like double sides. I'm like I always give tip my hat off to Danny Deutsch, who canceled some national shows because he just thought that.
Yeah.
No,
and
I want everything to go well, but I also, I know I have a lot of friends make their living like playing and stuff, but it's also
Yeah.
you gotta I got the hand that was dealt to me a few months ago, and I gotta go. I could go. I hate what happened. I don't like it. Or you can go. Look, I gotta deal with the reality.
Yeah.
It'll be done
eventually. It sucks. It really does. And if you're going to have a live event, then just be responsible. Require vaccinations. Don't let people in who aren't
Vaccinations
vaccinated.
against COVID.
Against COVID.
Just to be specific, you could get another one.
It is not political. It's a disease. It does not care about who you voted for. If you're going to go to an event that requires vaccination, that requires people to maxes, requires people to social distance, limits capacity, and if you do go to those events, tip the shit out of the waitstaff.
That's what. I was giving actually
Tip the
literally.
shit out of them.
I was giving everything. Like I would be giving like $10, $20 just because.
Yeah.
But the thing too is now we're getting really fun and serious.
If you order takeout from a place,
That's what
tip
I
them
always.
too.
Yeah, but the thing I was like thinking of like too, and now
if you get DoorDash, tip those guys.
Yeah, especially DoorDash, especially if they're
Eats.
handsome.
Yeah.
But the thing about it too is you think now, and we always try to avoid politics on here because who the heck wants to hear it? But
Right.
you think a lot of it now, like, okay, and if you liked Reagan or didn't like Reagan, I don't really care. But when he got shot, I know, but I'm just saying, when he got shot, what did they say, like, in the operating room? They go, he joked around and said, we're all Republicans today. We came together a bit. Okay, now after, you could argue, but you don't want to do that. But, or if anything happened, people came together. Like when Kennedy was assassinated, there weren't people going, maybe the 0.1 lunatics we didn't hear about.
Yeah.
But is it social media a lot now, too? Because so many people can just go on and...
Well, social media is divisive by its nature because this is all human being stuff. This is, it's human being stuff and it's business. And that's the thing. We forget about all these things are businesses. They exist at the end of the day to make money. And if divisiveness, negativity, and misinformation make money, guess what? What I tell people is that view social media like anyone you don't personally know is not real. Because there's a good chance that they're not. And that sounds, believe me, I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
No, he's right,
But it's
though.
been proven several times that a lot of misinformation is put up by organizations that have, that they use AI or people sitting in a cube farm, typing out stuff. But largely it's either a bot or a person who's being paid. Just consider that before you start railing against them getting and wasting your time getting worked up.
Well,
'Cause
consider
even if it
though,
is a
too,
person,
yeah.
you're not going to change their
Yeah,
mind.
well, consider though too. Okay,
Tailor your feed.
You could go on cable, go on any channel. You get all these. You get your UFO shows. You get your cryptoid shows. You get all these.
It's entertainment.
Things like you get. I was chased by a werewolf show or whatever else. Why don't you have like a lot of skeptic shows? Because it's entertainment. That's why. I mean, I could tell you, and I think, you could find the beauty in science, nature, everything, but when somebody says no, you're like the no fun person, where it's like, no, I was chased by a werewolf. Oh, cool.
I watch a lot of, I watch I watch the supernatural, the spooky shows.
I watch Mountain Monsters. I love it. I know it's pure.
But it's just like, I have been in my head building a show about a guy who just debunks all of it. And, like the skeptic or whatever, and everyone hates them. And everyone just hates this person, yet they're always right. And,
but that's like the thing, too. It's like, the only one who could get away with that was Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo could get away. No, what would happen with your show, though, if they did a show like that, what would happen, you get like somebody like Dana Scully, where the person would go, I'm going to debunk this. He's got a show. He's got a podcast. He finally goes out, and it turns out to be real.
Well, that's what those shows always do.
But that's a show. See, that's a show, though. It's
a show.
That's why
that's what's entertaining.
Chris Carter used to talk at PsyCop a lot, which is the Committee for Scientific Investigation of the Claims of the Paranormal, whatever. It's James Randi and all these. It's over in Amherst. He would say, look, I was a big, where does X-Files come from? It comes from Kolchak the Night Stalker, because I have Kolchak.
Yeah.
It's entertainment.
It's entertainment. No, nobody actually believes, it's like really actually, it's fiction. The show is, it's and I am a big fan of, the Randi Institutes and the
PsyCop and all those guys. I know. I used to get Skeptical Inquirer all the time. I used to be a member.
And these and these aren't people who are and they're not trying to wreck the entertainment.
But we come off as ninnies sometimes just because we're
they go
no
after
fun.
The people who weaponize this
so
stuff.
The religious people who are bilking, like Randy with the pop-offs and all of them. With the, if you ever see the
James Randi was a magician. Like
I have to really recommend it. You have to watch. Sometimes check out the Steve Martin movie Leap of Faith, because what he does, he's a crooked faith healer. He uses what Randy did because he's got the microphone and he sets it up and everything.
Yeah. And it's the people who exploit people who are grieving to make money. It's just like. It's just if you believe what you want to believe, but if you're going to hurt people or rip them off, you deserve to be taken down. You just do.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Not that I wouldn't like a UFO to land in the backyard, go to the planet Dragonstone with Daenerys and everything when I get home, but that was probably my anesthesia.
I'll tell you anybody's experience.
I'll tell you one benefit, not benefit, is it's called an anesthesia hangover, where I guess the anesthesia lasts in your system for months. I've had some funky dreams.
Yeah.
So, but we're almost, we cover.
Yeah, no, we went all over.
What do you want to see now, like, for the coming Marvel universe?
Oh boy, I'm excited about.
They should have a dragon in it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Dragon Man. They do have that character, Dragon Man.
Why do you ask me questions? I'm gonna try and answer it. No, yes, no, but seriously, I'm Doctor Doom. That's
Please
Doctor
be
Doom.
good.
Doctor Doom. If anyone can make Doctor Doom.
Is it standalone? Good. Have you heard, or is he going to be like the big dad?
We're not going to know for sure, but I have a feeling that he's going to be introduced gradually, and the worst thing they can do is just jam him in the first Fantastic Four movie, because that never works. He wasn't in the first issue of Fantastic Four. He didn't come around for a little while.
He wasn't.
He has his own story.
First issue was the Mole Man.
Yeah. And I also think that at this point, you don't really need to do a whole origin story of the Fantastic Four either. You can light on it, but you don't like. It's like Batman and Spider-Man. We don't need origin stories.
Have them there, then maybe do like the 5-minute. They're thinking you see the flashback.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I would actually. You think they should do a Namor movie? Would he be interesting?
There's a lot of talk that Namor is supposed to be the villain of the next Black Panther movie.
Oh, he's tough too because he's super strong. He's got a
and Namor is one of those characters that went from villain to hero to villain to hero.
You know what he is? He's DC's Black Adam is Namor. Basically, they go from this to that. They're heroes. They're villains. They're nationalists. They're
he's well, it's, and you could say that about Doctor Doom as well. Doctor Doom is, these are both the heads of a very isolated, isolated kingdom that they will do anything to protect.
Yeah, which sounds. I love how they get the fake names that sound real. Wakanda, Latveria. You swear it's like a.
Oh yeah, no, I gotta tell people from my family's from Latveria all the time, because they won't. It sounds real.
No, but I'm lucky. This is the thing. It's good to be around and look forward to, and like something like Eternals, because I have no expectation because I've never really liked the comic book that much. So let's see what they do.
Yeah,
I have an open mind on this stuff. Like you go, oh wow, why not? It might be good. If you don't, and the thing is, if it's not your cup of tea, big freaking deal. You just didn't care for it. Yeah. It's not like the end of the world or it's like a serious political crisis. Or
it's just it's like I get people who are tired of the MCU.
And yes, I did watch the Snyder cut. I did watch the Snyder cut.
You had time.
I had time, and I literally watched the 4-hour film. And if you're gonna watch it in slices.
Watch it in chunks. Yeah, watch an hour at a time.
There's some stuff in it I liked. There's some stuff that seemed like all the imagery, though, the floating around.
Just all the overblown, the slow-mo and all that. It's just not. It's unnecessary in my opinion. Some people like it.
And I really want to see Green Lantern back just because I've always liked Green Lantern.
Saw the Green. Yeah, no, I mentioned it before. I saw the Green Lantern movie and it was bad. It wasn't as
Mark Strong
bad as I thought it was going to be,
Mark Strong
but it was bad. But it was in it. They were
But we've had. See, we blew through another one. And good luck. We'll be back with guests. We have some really interesting Zooms ahead too.
Yeah, we do.
Which are going to be fun, and we have the studio stuff coming up, and it's going to be cool. Lots of interesting people I'm starting to reach out to. But we may have this episode pulled because we're going to do something different. First of all, though, I'm going to mention my good friend Greg Townsend's new album, Off and Running. You can get this on High Tide Records. I always pronounce this one wrong. And it says right now it's just an album and download because Greg's old school.
Yeah.
So he wants me to play something from it, so we will sometime, but we're having a few issues in terms of YouTube and stuff on our computer here.
Yeah.
So this may get us a lawsuit. We're going to play a rumored track by Gothic Toad that was unreleased. Now, it's rumored by... It's rumored by...
No one's ever going to hear this episode.
So you may not even hear this,
the point of being here today?
Okay.
Pull this thing.
I know we're gonna break the internet with this one. This is supposedly an unreleased song by Gothic Toad. I don't even know the title. It might have something with Twizzlers in it because of their troubled bass player. But okay, this is Rob and Patrick. We will see you soon. We may be in jail after we play this.
I don't know. I'm getting a lawyer.
Sued into bankruptcy, but we'll try. Thanks a lot. See ya.
Bye.